What kind of world lets a newborn vanish into a dumpster and calls it an accident? That question haunted Sarah Thompson every waking moment after her baby, Liam, was thrown out with the trash by a janitor who heard voices in the garbage bags. No one was ever held accountable, and the truth, buried under layers of negligence, only surfaced when a private investigator tore through the lies. This isn't just a story of loss, it's a gut punch, a scream in the dark, and a fight that refuses to fade. Golden Pines was the kind of place you'd see on a postcard. Freshly painted gates, smiling guards waving from their booths, and neighbors who left cookies on your doorstep. It was a gated community that promised safety, the kind where you locked your doors out of habit, not fear. Sarah and James Thompson moved there for peace, not luxury. After 3 weeks in the NICU, lying on coffee and hospital chairs, they needed a place to breathe, to rebuild. Their son, Liam, had arrived 4 weeks early, his skin so thin you could see his veins, his lungs too weak to promise tomorrow. But he fought, and he won. 3 days out of the hospital, Sarah still woke every hour to check his breathing, her heart catching at every pause. That night, James was back at the hospital for his first shift as a nurse since Liam's birth. The apartment felt too quiet without him. Sarah tried to sleep, curling up on the couch with Liam's stroller beside her, his tiny body nestled in a soft blanket. The hum of the air conditioner and the glow of street lights should have lulled her to rest, but her mind spun with what-ifs. She pressed her hand to Liam's chest, rise matching her breath to his. Around 3 a.m., her eyes grew heavy, and she drifted off for what felt like seconds. A thud jolted her awake. Deep, heavy, followed by a muttered curse, low, male, close. Someone was tossing trash into the dumpsters below their second-floor balcony, each throw harder than it needed to be. Sarah sat up, groggy but alert, and turned to Liam's stroller. Her world cracked. The blanket was folded neatly, the stroller angled oddly, as if someone had nudged it and left in a hurry. Her heart stumbled. She touched the handle too cold. Pulling back the blanket, she found nothing. No warm weight, no baby. Her hands shook as she searched the stroller's cushions, the footrest, her movements frantic. The wheels creaked, hollow and wrong. She froze, eyes darting to the balcony. The curtain hung still, but the sliding door behind it was open an inch, just enough for a breeze, or something worse. She yanked the curtain aside and stepped into the cool night air. Below, the dumpsters loomed like dark mouths, one still swaying slightly. Panic swallowed the next 10 minutes. Sarah screamed Liam's name, her voice shredding as she tore through the apartment. Kitchen cabinets flew open, cereal boxes tumbling. The bathroom door slammed, the shower curtain ripped aside. She checked the washer, the dryer, the linen closet. Every door she opened stole another piece of hope. The stroller sat untouched, the blanket crumpled beside it, cold and scentless. Barefoot, in her sleep shirt, Sarah stumbled into the hallway, banging on the guard booth's glass. The older guard blinked, half asleep, his TV glowing. "Where's your husband? He take the kid?" he asked. Sarah shook her head, words failing. The younger guard leaned back. "Maybe he forgot to tell you. Could be nothing." "Nothing?" The word cut like glass. She ran back upstairs, dialing 911, her voice a jumble of "baby gone" and "balcony." The dispatcher tried to calm her, but calm was a foreign language. When the police arrived 45 minutes later, they scanned the apartment, one taking notes, the other asking, "Could the father have taken him?" Sarah snapped, "He's at work." The younger officer tilted his head. "You been stressed? Taken anything to sleep?" She stared, disbelief burning her throat. "Check the dumpsters," she begged, voice breaking. They didn't. The garbage truck had already come, they said. Too late. As if 2 words could erase her son. Sarah's scream wasn't human. It clawed from her chest, raw and primal, startling the officer into stepping back. She doubled over, a red speck staining her eye like cracked porcelain. But no one checked the bins. No one ran. 48 hours and a legal threat later, James got the security footage. He stood outside the HOA office 3 times, pleading until they handed him a flash drive. At home, Sarah clutched Liam's blanket, unable to let go. James plugged in the drive, fast-forwarding through silent hours. At 2:58 a.m., Sarah slept on the couch, Liam's stroller beside her. At 3:06, a thin, hunched man in a loose HOA uniform pushed a janitor's cart from the stairwell. Near their door, a small bundle lay on the floor. He paused, looked around, then picked it up, turning it in his trembling hands. His face wrinkled confusion or discomfort, and with a glance over his shoulder, he placed it on the cart and moved on. James's lungs locked. He replayed it, slow motion, again and again. The angle hid the bundle's contents, but he knew. At 3:09, ground-level footage showed the man by the dumpster, tossing the bundle in with one fluid motion, like it was nothing. James's knuckles whitened on the mouse. Sarah stood in the doorway, eyes fixed on the screen, unblinking. "Let it play," she whispered, voice firm despite the collapse in her expression. She watched the janitor vanish into the shadows, then sat on the floor. "The balcony door," she said. "I didn't lock it. I heard the wind push it." Guilt spiraled. Liam had started crawling early, strong for his size. Could he have reached the balcony? Or had someone seen him, taken him, left him there? The footage showed no screams, no motion after 3:09, just silence. The police repeated, "We can't confirm a fatality without a body." By 3:19, the garbage truck had taken the bin to a landfill across state lines, where Liam became anonymous, lost under tons of refuse. The HOA called it a tragic accident, firing the janitor without releasing his name. He claimed he thought it was a blanket, maybe a doll. "It didn't look real," he said. Sarah begged to confront him, to hear an apology. Denied. The HOA sent a press release with a sticky note. "For your records." She tore it in half, not in anger, but disbelief. No lawsuit was possible without a body, no crime existed. Legally, Liam wasn't dead, just gone, trapped in limbo. The city wouldn't issue a death certificate, Leah vying his birth record frozen, as if he'd never existed. The media shunned the story. "Too heavy," they said. "No resolution." Online, strangers speculated, she left the door open on purpose. Babies don't vanish. The footage is fake. They picked apart Sarah's interviews, her posture, her tears. She didn't cry enough. Seemed scripted. It was easier to blame her than face the truth. If a baby could disappear like that, no one was safe. James withdrew, his silence growing heavy. He avoided the nursery, sitting alone on the porch as dusk fell. Sarah burned Liam's blanket in the backyard, watching the ashes curl. There was no funeral, no gravestone, nothing to mark him. A year later, Sarah's aunt, Clara, hired a private investigator. He dug into HOA records, finding a supervisor's request, 3 months before Liam's disappearance, to replace the janitor for inconsistent behavior or muttering, absences, residents' discomfort. No action was taken. A tenant's note, 10 days prior, described the janitor whispering by the bins. "They're not quiet, not in the bags." Doorbell footage was ignored. The HOA had hired him through a cheap agency, knowing his mental health history, because it saved money. Emails showed they prioritized budget cuts over safety. Sarah fought for a hearing, pushing through indifference. The courtroom was Sparcino reporters, just HOA lawyers and a tired judge. The janitor, now in a psychiatric clinic, was unfit for trial, hearing. Infants crying in bins. The judge ruled it a cognitive failure, not a crime. Sarah's voice rose. "You're saying it doesn't matter? That my son vanished and no one's responsible?" Her scream shattered the room, raw and unending. Officers led her out, her cries echoing. The lawyers packed up, and Liam's name was never spoken again. Every year, Sarah wheels Liam's stroller to Golden Pines gates, locking it in place with a sign, "They threw out my son. I never found him. If you hear crying from the dumpster, don't assume it's trash." She stands silently, not for drama, but because the world moved on, and she can't. Residents avoid her gaze, whispering she's tragic or disturbed. Children ask, "Who is she?" Parents shrug, "She's that woman from the news." But Sarah isn't just a woman. She's a mother, carrying every breath, every cry, every silence. She listens for Liam's faint wail, a sound only she hears, rising from the quiet where the worst pain lives.